Hello and welcome back to Reddit Replies. Today's question is, what is the fastest way you've seen someone ruin their life? A drunk friend got into bed with his mother-in-law because he thought she was interested in him, but she wasn't. It ended badly. Once, my friend told me he wanted to have sex with his cousin for the first time and mentioned a lot of other things about her. His cousin's father was right behind him, listening to everything he said. A friend and I were at a party, and two girls took us to a back room to fool around. My friend was giving a massage to one of the girls while she lay face down on a pile of cushions. She lifted her skirt, moved her underwear to the side, and said, "Do me." My friend, being inexperienced at the time, couldn't believe his luck, so he whipped out his Titan and did it very quickly, almost instantly. That's how he became a father at 17. He loves his child, but that event ruined his life by derailing his education, career prospects, and causing significant problems in his immediate family that still persist. A fellow I knew was an amateur MMA fighter. He had won some regional fights and his gym was promoting him. He was in talks with an MMA promotion. One day, a guy taunted him and he responded by hitting him. The guy hit his head on the pavement and died. 5 years for manslaughter. A friend dropped out of a very good university with a full scholarship that his family could never have afforded otherwise due to his addiction to World of Warcraft. A guy I knew was playing with a gun at a party, trying to look cool. He spun it with his finger and lost his life right in front of everyone. It's a miracle that no one else was hurt, and many people who weren't there think it was intentional, but it wasn't. He was only 20 years old. I had a friend years ago, always a bit of an oddball but had a good heart. One day, we were hanging out with a few other friends, and he told us he was getting a tattoo the next day and had this great idea, but he didn't tell us what it was because he wanted it to be a surprise. We saw him a week later, and he had 3/4 of his face tattooed solid dark green, no design or anything, just solid dark green. He was immediately fired from his job the day after getting the tattoo. I lost touch with him shortly after that as he moved to another city. I heard he ended up living in his car. My idea of why he did what he did is that he had a very good job in computer science at a fairly large company and was making decent money. I have no idea why he thought permanently turning 3/4 of himself green would be super awesome. About 50 years ago, when my great-uncle was just over 20 years old, he drove home drunk and hit and killed 2 college students. He didn't even realize it. After his initial incarceration, he didn't know how to function as a free citizen, so he kept getting sent back to jail. I had a friend who had a tendency to act before thinking, but he was generally fun-loving and well-intentioned. After I graduated, he apparently got coerced by a woman he was trying to sleep with to try a substance just once. He initially refused but eventually gave in due to feeling pressured. My friend overdosed and died. So, one bad decision ended his life. Some kids from school went to a cabin during winter break. One of the girls was standing on the balcony, and her boyfriend thought it would be funny to scare her, so he lunged at the balcony railing. She fell from the 3rd floor and hit her spine on a huge rock on the ground. She ended up paralyzed from the neck down. She was supposed to be a gymnast. I met a guy who was playing with a gun at a party. He spun it with his finger, trying to look cool. He lost his life right in front of everyone. He was 20 years old. A friend dropped out of a very good university with a full scholarship that his family could never have afforded otherwise due to his addiction to World of Warcraft. A guy I knew was playing with a gun at a party, trying to look cool. He spun it with his finger and lost his life right in front of everyone. It's a miracle that no one else was hurt, and many people who weren't there think it was intentional, but it wasn't. He was 20 years old. An old neighbor of mine, a gay guy deeply in the closet, which I found out when I ran into him at a club about 4 years ago. To our surprise, he used to get blackout drunk and wake up in strangers' beds not remembering what happened the night before. Perhaps unsurprisingly, he ended up testing positive for advanced HIV at the young age of 23. His parents still don't know he's gay, let alone living with HIV. I knew a guy when I was younger. He was a star tight end in high school and college but had a drinking problem. He had pro stats, speed, size, etc. He had a shot in the NFL. He flew to the city, went out, got drunk, and overslept for the tryout. He showed up half a day late and was not allowed in. Now he does mortgages, working like the rest of us. I once knew a guy who was incredibly ambitious and had dreams of starting his own business. He had a brilliant idea and was ready to take the plunge. However, he made a critical mistake by trusting the wrong business partner. This partner turned out to be a scam artist who embezzled all of their startup funds and disappeared. The guy was left devastated, financially ruined, and unable to recover from the setback. There was a woman who had a promising career in the entertainment industry. She had landed several acting roles and was on the verge of making it big. However, her ego got the best of her, and she started mistreating her colleagues and burning bridges left and right. Word quickly spread about her behavior, and she found herself blacklisted from the industry. She had to start from scratch and never regained the same level of success. A young man had a passion for extreme sports and was known for taking risks. He decided to attempt a dangerous stunt that involved jumping off a high cliff into a shallow river. Unfortunately, he miscalculated the jump and ended up severely injuring his spine. He became paralyzed from the neck down and had to adjust to a completely different way of life. A woman had always been known for her impulsive spending habits and extravagant lifestyle. Despite warnings from friends and family, she continued to live beyond her means, accumulating massive debts. Eventually, her financial situation became unsustainable, and she had to declare bankruptcy, losing everything she had worked for. A man was deeply in love with his partner and believed they were destined to be together forever. However, he became consumed by jealousy and possessiveness, constantly accusing his partner of infidelity. His toxic behavior pushed their partner away, and they eventually ended the relationship. The man was left heartbroken and filled with regret, realizing that his insecurities had cost him the love of his life.